Hey kid, don't ever let them get inside your head. They'll tell you what to do in life instead of everything you know that you could get. Don't let them guide your life towards regret. I'll fight for what I love with every breath. My past is filled with things I won't forget. I use them all to push me to my best. So treat the worst of times just like a test. If only I could go back in time, I'd tell myself that everything will end up alright. Just push yourself, test yourself, figure out what you like, and find your limits, don't be rigid, always work towards a prime. Surround yourself with open minds, people can change your life. A few friends with intent.
Aloha and welcome back, all my neglected fans. It's your boy, Neglected Gundam here. We're back in the art studio and we're going to be fixing a Gundam today. The shoulder joint on that Gundam has broken, so as you see laid out in front of you, we have all the tools that we're going to need to fix that Gundam today. But before I do, I just want to say thank you for all the new subscribers. Welcome to the channel. Without further ado, let's go ahead and see what tools we have for the job today. So today you're going to need a pair of gloves. We're going to need that because we are using the A plus B epoxy putty. This is 2 parts that we mix equal parts together, and then when it dries it becomes very, very hard. And that'll be a good bond for us to fix that shoulder joint. We have one X-Acto knife, one pair of metal clippers. We're going to be clipping through nails today. We have one circular file, one pair of tweezers, 400 grit sandpaper, one toothpick, and last but not least, we have a pin vise. Again, I just want to thank you to all my subscribers, everyone that's been here since day one, and everyone that's here now. So thank you for that. So without further ado, let's see who we're working on today. So today we're going to be repairing the Master Grade Heavy Arms EW. I hope that you enjoyed the last video of his showcase. I had to shoot this video first before I shot that video. His arm, unfortunately, is broken. So what we're going to do is we're going to fix that arm today at the shoulder joint. I have fixed it one time before, and now we'll have to fix it again. So what we're going to do is we're going to mix together the A plus B part epoxy putty, and then we'll fill in the hollow points inside that shoulder joint, and you'll see how I do that as well. So with the tools that you've seen already, we'll go ahead and take that little whittle tool and whittle out another hole. But instead of explaining everything to you and exactly how to do it by word, I'm just going to show you, and that way you'll have a good representation of how to fix your mobile suits as well. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in and we'll start fixing this Gundam. I'm just going to give this a good look over and see exactly what I'm looking at and what I need to do. First, I just want to judge and get a good assessment of what needs to be done and how to do it. So right now, just by looking at it, I know that the shoulder joint is still inside, so I'm going to have to come up under this side and push it out somehow. And now I'm going to come in here and look and see that I did drill out a hole. So you can't drill too far in because then you'll affect the moving part. And typically when I do a repair, I want everything to remain the same as it just came out of the box. So if this part does move, I want it to be able to retain that movement. And so one of the reasons why this shoulder broke again is because I couldn't drill in too far past that point. And so it really didn't have too much surface area for it to hold on to. So right now I know I can't drill in farther. That is where the A plus B epoxy putty comes in. I'm also going to take his arm off. Okay, so now that we have that out of the way, I'm going to take this and bring it down. I'm going to take my tweezers here, and you can see that they're bent on the end, and it's for doing exactly things like I'm going to do now. It's really stuck. I've decided to go ahead and take this missile casing off, just because I really don't want to scratch it. Okay, now, I don't want to, but if we need to, we can take everything apart and take this one part. We can isolate this one part and make sure, just so we don't break anything. I don't want to break how it moves like this. I don't want to break it, and I also don't want to make it loose. So I want to be careful with this part. I hope I don't have to disassemble everything, but we'll see. It just depends because this is really tight in there. And so what I did there is I knew that I had traction. So let me recreate this so you can see it. So once I knew I could have a little bit of traction behind it and get it to move, all I have to do is move my tweezers this way and it would come out. But what you don't want to do is hold your piece like this. You don't want to do that when you push, because this with so much force will fly across the room. And like I said, that ground is called the void. You'll lose that piece, man. You'll be sitting there searching for an hour sometimes. It sucks. So what I did to combat that is actually squeeze the top of the piece, and I pushed it. I pushed it so hard I thought it did fly across the room, but my fingers, and that's why they're there as a safety net, my fingers caught that piece. So now we can continue with this, and I can even put his arm back on. This arm is now free and nothing broke, so I am very happy about that. I'm just going to put it aside. Now we'll go on to the body and we'll see how to put this peg back together. I already do have a metal rod inside. As you can see, the end, you can see that metal rod inside. Now, what happens if this is a fresh break and there is no rod inside, right? So what would you do? So what I would do is get a metal rod ready. So it's just a nail, looks just like this. What I'm going to do is, because I don't need another rod, I'm going to go ahead and show you an example of how to cut this, but I'm just going to be cutting the head off of it, and then I'm going to put this nail back in the case. I'm just going to slide it inside, close down, and then with all the force in the world, I'm going to go ahead and point this down towards the mat, and I'm going to squeeze really hard. And hear it fly across the room. So I would figure out how much of this metal rod I would actually need to go all the way to the base. I need about that much metal rod to go inside heavy arms. And I might actually make it a little bit shorter than that, just because you don't want to make it the exact same length, just in case if it sticks out a little bit. It would just be awkward to try and cut something so small. So I would just take this, put it on there, and then I would move it down just a little bit. Just a little bit, maybe a millimeter, maybe not even. And then I would do the exact same trick where I would turn it upside down, and I would just put it in between my two fingers here, and not enough force to actually move it. But then once I do clip, this piece here would just go into the palm of my hand. So I would just hold it, clip, and then boom, you would get your piece, and that's where it would end up, would be the palm of your hand. We're going to go ahead and take this tool here, and we're going to find the right size that we need to drill out, and we would drill out from the peg as well. However, that peg's not going to be on there because obviously we're fixing a broken piece, right? So we're going to have to drill into these two items separately, and I'll show you kind of how to do that. It'll be a little harder on this project because I already have the pin inserted, and we'll just go ahead and take it off and pretend like it's not there, and I'll show you how to do that. Okay, now to showcase this tool, we do have a little metal whittle. So this is just like a little whittle for wood, things like that. It's a great tool to get. You can get it in Hobby Lobby. I believe that's where I got mine. The end twists. It's very nice for holding inside on your palm and then putting pressure on and then twisting around. It's basically going to be a little drill bit. You get this case here. I'm going to go ahead and open it and show you what's inside. Alright, now that we have everything separated, we're going to have to find the diameter of this nail, and then we're also going to have to match it to the diameter of our drill bit as well. And the way I match it is I just look at the size in comparison. This one looks a little small, so I'm going to go up just a little bit more. Okay, and this one is very close. I would say this is the one that we're going to drill out. And so this is now my drill bit. I'm going to go ahead and use this. I'll put all these other ones away. typical rule of thumb for me is I like to put everything away. I don't like to have drill bits just sitting out here, because if they do sit out, you'll probably lose them. I've done that in the past. It kind of sucks. Figure that out on your own, what you like to do. You could lose stuff pretty easily, or you could just put it back and hold on to it. I like to keep a clean workstation. So what you're going to have is something like this. I would find the point that's going to go directly in and also directly flat on the face. So I don't want to go in at an angle. In the center, if I could, as close to the center as I possibly could, and then I would just start whittling through. You would just whittle all the way through, kind of go slow, and look to see that you're at the right angle, and you're not going to go crooked. You're just going to go straight through, and then eventually that'll just poke on through, and then you just take it out. Now, when it comes to the body here, I know that behind this piece here, you can't drill too far into it, because if you push on through, if you put that metal rod in, it will limit your arm from being able to swing out on that pivot point that it has. So again, I might even take one of the smaller drill bits that I have, and I might do a starter pilot hole just to get directly in the center, and also because this hole doesn't exist anyways, and there was like a piece of crossbar plastic. Basically, it was like a plus sign. There was going to be all the plastic in the middle. So I think I started a pilot hole just to make sure that I was going in straight and at a 90-degree angle and completely straight down. And then I came back to this tool and whittled in just before I poked through that part, and I stopped and then backed it out. So that's how I would do that. So now basically, essentially, if you're in the center of that, in the center of this piece, then when you put them together, they would match up, and then what you could do is slide that metal rod in, and see this one, it holds itself on. It's been holding itself on for the last couple minutes. It just shows you that when I whittled that hole, everything works out properly and it's straight on. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take the epoxy putty, we're gonna mix it, we're gonna take equal parts of it, mix it up, and then we will go ahead and put that right on the shoulder joint, and that'll give it a nice firm fit. So here inside, you will see that we have A plus B, and what we're going to do is we're going to take equal parts of both, and we're going to mix them up, and then that'll create a nice epoxy. I'm just going to squish it inside here. Okay, and just like that, this has been added on. It's a nice, smooth, even coat. This likes to cure for about 24 hours. I found that in my past. You don't have to let it sit for as long. So I'll come back and start sanding that down, and then we'll be one step closer to getting this project done. All right, now that we've given Heavy Arms a little bit of time to dry, we're going to go ahead and sand down this peg a little bit. I just want to make sure that if I move it, everything is secure. And everything seems to be very tight there. One thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and sand down the inside of what attaches to the peg, and I'll make sure that the fitting is not too tight. So I'm just going to sand down a little bit. With the edges of the sandpaper, I just want to make sure I'm not going to hit the side of the model. And this is just going to make it straight. Alright, so I'm just going to eyeball it straight like that. I see that I have a little bit of epoxy putty up here that sticks out farther than the peg. And on camera you can't even really see it, but by eye I can. So I'm going to go ahead and take that off of the base so it won't peek out. Okay, to me that looks pretty good. That job looks pretty complete. I'm going to take a file and then I'm just going to sand out a little bit and make this hole bigger. That way it doesn't catch on the end and I won't re-break it. Okay, so I went ahead and grabbed my file and I'm just going to file the inside of this hole. Take his arm off just to save from scratching more paint. And I'm just going to file on the inside. I want to be careful not to file too much, because if you file too much, you make it too loose, and then you'll have to add something, plow plate or something, to get inside there. I want the connection to be strong enough to hold his gun, but I want it to be able to fit on there without stressing that part any more than it should. Now that we have sanded our peg, and we've sanded out the hole a little bit wider, we're going to do the fit. It's on there to stay. It works. It can move. It's good to go. Alright, so as you can see here, I went ahead and installed the fingers already. I want to go ahead and make this process as easy as possible, and I don't want to fiddle around with the arm when it's already attached. I want to kind of put everything together and then I'll attach the arm. Alright, now we have the Master Grade Heavy Arms EW all snapped up. He's put back together and he is complete now. So I hope that you enjoyed the process of how to fix that Gundam. I really do hope that it teaches you how to fix something if you didn't know how to fix a joint like that already. If you missed it, we did have a showcase of this Gundam. That video was the first showcase video that I've had on this channel. So if you missed it, if you stuck through all the way to the end on this video because you were interested to see how to fix your Gundam, well, go back and watch the last video that I posted. It is a showcase on this guy. The name on that video is Part 1 Completed Gundams Master Grade Heavy Arms EW. So go ahead and watch that. Watch the reveal and showcase of this guy. I had to make this video first because I had to repair him, so I went ahead and released that video first after I made it. I hope that you enjoy my work. I hope this channel becomes useful to you. And if you like this content, go ahead, like that button, comment about Gundams that have broken in the past for you and what you did to fix them. So go ahead and comment if you thought this content was helpful in any way to you. If you like this channel, we're going to be going over a lot of different things on it. A lot of this channel will be work in progresses that I have. I hope that you enjoy Gundam content as much as I enjoy making it. So think about becoming a subscriber and we'll go ahead and make lots of videos for the future. And now that you've seen how to fix this Gundam, well, until next time, I hope you don't feel that neglected now. Okay, let me get the jitters out. Okay, dude, you need to get muscle memory, bro. Right here. Sorry, Troa. I'm so sorry, Troa. I didn't mean to do that to you, buddy. Oh no. Don't hate me. I threw around your little body like a rag doll.